From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Good morning, everyone. I want to give you a quick reminder. There's a free Weather NorCal app. If you have an iPhone or an Android, just go to your app store, search for Weather NorCal. You'll see an icon that looks just like that. Click the install button and you are good to go. Everything we have to offer here at Weather NorCal, you can get right from your phone. All right, so it was pretty hot over the weekend, right? I mean, it's been hotter, but it was definitely a warm weekend. But we did see the clouds move in yesterday and eventually even some showers. Last night, of course, early this morning. So it's a mild start, but we do have some bigger heat heading our way this week. And the temperatures will slowly drop by the end of the week, but it's still going to be hot. I expect temperatures to be well into the 90s, even as we start to see that cool down, right? So here's your neighborhood forecast at a quick glance. Now, again, I've got the AM showers here for everyone minus the valley. It's been very dry. So if we see anything in the valley, it's going to be in the form of a light sprinkle, just a passing sprinkle here and there. So if you're heading off to work or taking the kids off to school this morning in the valley, don't be surprised if you see a couple of drops on your windshield, but nothing to really be too concerned about. But look at the temperatures. 85 degrees in the valley and mainly in the 70s for the higher elevations. This is kind of one of those things where Mother Nature is playing tricks on us, and we'll show what I'm talking about here in a second. But the winds here for today, they're going to be strongest, I think, in the eastern mountains, a little breezy in the north end of the valley, but nothing to be concerned about. And really, all things considered, not that bad along the coast, especially with how windy it's been over the last several weeks. As we go into your Tuesday, not a bad start to the day, but look at this. As we go into Tuesday afternoon, we're going to be looking at those gusts approaching that 30-mile-an-hour range again. So some gusty north-northwest winds for the valley. And when you factor in that heat, which we're going to be talking about here, that is also going to be increasing that fire danger, unfortunately. And I mean, even as we go into Wednesday morning, we're still looking at some pretty gusty winds out there. Now the humidity, I want to show you this because again, it's pretty high this morning, but then by the afternoon, we're down to about 20-25%. That's low. Keep in mind, yes, we typically do see single digits and teens, but still 20-25% is still low. So that can, of course, increase that fire danger a little bit here. And that's the case going into your Tuesday as well with the low relative humidity. So factoring in the heat that we are going to see here by tomorrow, the humidity and the winds, not much of an issue here for today because, again, the cooler temperatures, winds not that strong. But as the winds pick up tomorrow, the heat back to most likely around 100 degrees here. Now we're looking at that high fire danger in the valley. All right, so let's take a look at the satellite. Look at that. I mean, this is a fairly aggressive storm system for this time of the year that's pushing on through. Now, the bulk of the rain has been over the Pacific Northwest, but we are seeing some light rain and have seen it last night in Northern California, that is. Just not much in the valley, but the coast and many of the mountain locations seeing some of that activity here. This will eventually move out and high pressure will settle in, and that is going to mean more sunshine and yeah, there's the heat. This heat is going to be expanding northward here over the next couple of days. Now, starting tomorrow, we're going to notice it. Now, again, we're going to be kind of right in between that, when I say hotter next week, I should say hotter this week, by the way. But what we're seeing here is this heat is going to continue to expand. Okay, it was going to Wednesday, Thursday, but notice the main bubble of heat is off to our east. So that's where the hottest temperatures will be, but that still doesn't mean we're not going to see hot temperatures because we will. Now, the interesting thing is we're going to see this cooler air kind of right over that ridge, but we're still going to keep it fairly warm. But as this cooler air moves in closer, our temperatures will start to drop. And then that starts to kind of push itself off to the east. That ridge of high pressure that's over us this week, this is what's going to be building and going into next week. So yes, we'll see maybe a little brief drop in the temperatures, but this may bring those temperatures right back up again. This is interesting. I wanted to show you how the month of May looked. You can see remember the first weekend in May where temperatures were in the mid to upper 60s and then even going into that week in the 70s. And then of course it warmed up in the 80s and 90s. We saw our hottest temperature of the year on Wednesday, May 15th. It was close to that to wrap up the month, but we still have yet to see 100 degrees. That may change by tomorrow, and especially as we go into Wednesday. But there you can see the Climate Prediction Center is keeping us in the warmer than normal category. All right, so here it is. The excessive heat warning with highs between 95 and 108 degrees, most likely. Now, the heat risk put out by the National Weather Service for Tuesday, we're in that moderate range. Moderate means it affects most people that are sensitive to heat, especially without proper cooling and or hydration. Now, as we take you into Wednesday, there you can see the areas of red. That is in the major category. That affects anyone without proper cooling and or hydration. Taking you into Thursday, still within that major category. And even as we go into Friday, we're seeing mainly orange in the moderate range, but there are some pockets that are going to be in that major category. So yes, it peaks Wednesday, Thursday, and then we start to see the temperatures kind of start to drop. But again, it's still going to be hot, all right? And why we need to take these heat advisories and these excessive heat warnings seriously, when we look at the weather fatalities, taking all of the different weather elements out there, weather fatalities last year, this right here, that's due to heat. Now, I will state, I dug into this a little bit deeper. None of them were in the state of California. Most of them actually were in Arizona. But you get the idea. I mean, you have flooding, you have hurricanes, tornadoes. All of those are down here. It's the heat that tends to have the most number of fatalities. So that's why we need to take it seriously, and that's why we need to look out for our neighbors, our friends, elderly, the infants, right? They are most susceptible to that heat. All right, let's switch gears now because we're starting off with those cooler temperatures, right? And so this morning, as I mentioned, if you see a stray sprinkle in the valley, everywhere else, don't be surprised. But as we go through the morning, look how it's just kind of parting. By noon, we're actually starting to see those clouds begin to clear out. And then by the afternoon, mostly sunny skies. But temperatures are going to be impacted by the cloud cover, especially we see for the first half of the day. And then by Tuesday, looks like a few clouds off to our north, and eventually maybe in a few clouds developing along the coast here, and partly cloudy skies to the north. But it will be dry. And we go into Wednesday, again, some clouds along the coast, some high clouds moving in, but that's it. Still looking at those dry conditions. Your wave heights, well, there you have it. There you can see they're going to be fairly low, not that bad. In fact, we're probably going to start to see those wave heights begin to drop going into your Tuesday. So here's a look at your marine forecast for your Monday. West winds at 5 to 10 knots, waves from the west at 6 feet at 10 seconds, and from the southwest at 1 foot at about 14 seconds, no advisories. That's always good to hear, right? Let's take a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. As mentioned, a chance for those showers in the morning, but by the afternoon, we're seeing those clearing skies. There's that heat. I think parts of us in Trinity County will reach that triple-digit mark, especially Weaverville, Hayfork, by the middle of the week. Your North Coast neighborhood forecast, there you can see that chance for those morning showers. Of course, not seeing the heat wave, right? But we are seeing the temperatures increase as we get towards the middle and latter part of the week for the coast. For the inland areas, not quite 100 degrees, but I think it'll be close, especially by Thursday, Friday. You're in the upper 90s for those daytime highs. How about Siskiyou County? Well, not the triple digits there either. Probably low to maybe some mid 90s for those daytime highs for the middle and latter part of the week. But there's that drop in the temperatures as we do go into the weekend. Taking a look at Modoc County neighborhood forecast, upper 60s today, some of those morning showers, otherwise low 90s for your highs during the peak of this heat wave. The eastern mountains, I think your temperatures will probably be closer to the mid to maybe even some upper 90s for your daytime highs during the peak of that heat wave. Could see some showers. It says AM. There may be even a little bit of activity here in parts of the eastern mountains this afternoon. Your valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractor. Now, I haven't included the wording of AM showers, but again, you could see a sprinkle or two, but nothing that is going to cause any problems for you whatsoever. Those temperatures should be in the mid to maybe some upper 80s for some of the warmer spots, especially where we may see some clearing earlier in the day to the south. Otherwise, mid 80s for places like Redding with a high of 85, 86 in Palo Cedro, and Whiskeytown, about 79 degrees. So there's a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. That heat will be arriving. Now, I've got 99 on Tuesday, so again, it's going to be borderline 99, 100 degrees. That's what we're looking at as we start the heat wave. But 106 on Wednesday, Thursday. Temperatures will start to drop, though, after that, maybe eventually down to the mid-90s by Sunday.
At Cottonwood Small Animal Clinic and Cottonwood Veterinary Clinic, we're here to provide the best possible care for your patients. We understand that your pet is your family member, and when your family member is sick, they need urgent help.
All our staff is so passionate about the care that goes into all your little creatures. Making relationships with pet parents here in Cottonwood is the greatest feeling in the world. Come find us off the Gas Point exit here in the heart of Cottonwood.